that time of year again where a new raid has been released and the people are struggling and looking for a savior to save us from this raid apocalypse.
Help me, McMole2, you're my only hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we got the one and only, the clone god, the raid master, McMole2. Go ahead and say hi to the lovely people out there.
Hi, guys.
Now, if you don't know who McMole2 is, go ahead and subscribe to him right now because I'm not even joking. Out of all the channels out there for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, this guy knows his stuff and he is definitely the #1 YouTuber for all of the raids. Period. Last time we did a video was when the AAT was the main topic. It was a struggle, and we did a video with the clones and Princess Leia, the Princess Zodi lineup, almost 100,000 views, and since then everyone has been bowing down to you as the raid overlords. So thank you again for coming on the show. And why don't you tell the people what we're gonna do today together?
Well, today we are going to be going over the top 10 Zetas you can invest in for the Sith Raid.
Yeah, so on this list we got here, it's actually a great mix of characters. Free to play, only one hero's journey, and we have a lot of other great characters. So a nice balance of stuff for you guys to consider. But without further ado, my friends, let's get into it and talk about the number 10 best Zeta for the Sith Triumvirate Raid.
Come on, let's do this. Number 10.
Number 10, we have Hermit Yoda with the Zeta on his ability Strength Flows from the Force. With this Zeta, not only does he get a -1 cooldown reduction on using the ability, he also is able to give 20% additional protection to all allies that are on the team with him, and also gives foresight to Jedi allies too.
For Hermit Yoda and his Zeta on Strength Flows through the Force, what phases would you recommend this Zeta be the best used in?
You won't really see much use for it in phase 1 outside of a Jedi team because Darth Nihilus ignores protection. But phase 2 and 3 and pretty much all of phase 4, this Zeta will work great for helping keeping your teams alive.
Come on, do it, I'm here. Number 9.
Number 9 on our list, McMole2, when he sent me his stuff, he called it Kanan Zeta thingy, I can't remember. But now that we're together and talking about it, he's talking about the Zeta on total defense. And this is actually really helpful for phase 2, right? Because you said Phoenix is pretty solid for phase 2 against Darth Sion, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and the Zeta on Kanan, in case you don't know, it dispels all debuffs on all Phoenix allies. Really important right there. You get the defense up for 3 turns, and he gives 2 foresights to himself and to the target ally. And then when each of these foresights expire, Kanan gains 100% turn meter, and other Phoenix allies gain 50% turn meter. So if people are going to invest in Kanan, because people already know Phoenix are one of the best free-to-play teams out there, how exactly should they be using Kanan Zeta in phase 2 of the raid?
I mean, you're not really going to have a lot of debuffs to cleanse, but ideally you want to use that foresight that he gives to give someone who's low on health and protection. Because if you don't do that, they have the risk of dying from Sion and his massive amounts of damage. So use that foresight to help protect someone, help them heal back up from the Zev Unique and Chopper if you have them in there, and they'll heal back up over time. It's just that foresight's to help give a buffer to make sure they don't die.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I was actually really surprised when you told me Phoenix was actually really solid. It's great to hear because that's a team people can access really early on in the game. And just a minor spoiler, we have another Phoenix character on this list that we're going to get to, and it's much higher up the list as well. So, but without further ado, my friend, let's move on to number 8. And this is actually a really good one, and she's on here twice. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what number 8's going to be here?
Let off some steam, Bennett. Number 8.
Number 8, we have the Rampage Zeta for Asajj Ventress, and with this Zeta, it gives her bonus offense and health whenever an ally or an enemy is defeated. And with this, it really helps boost up the amount of damage she's going to do pretty quickly, especially if you have someone like Night Sister Zombie or some characters that constantly come back to life. You're able to quickly just boost up that damage. Another character you can use this with great effectiveness is the old Daka, because she can constantly revive Night Sisters too.
Yeah, this is actually really cool. I mean, this is also great for the AAT raid, right? Not just the Sith raid. So you're getting a lot of use out of this. Yeah. And then dark side territory battles, you have a lot of enemies you're taking out. But for the raids especially, now, this is just for the Sith Triumvirate raid. I've seen you make videos on Asajj going to town in the AAT raid. So they're going to get a lot of views out of this as well. And on top of that, free-to-play character that you can get in Arena. So again, it's a nice, well-rounded list. I'm glad you added this to your list because she has a lot of usefulness with this particular Zeta here.
Number 7.
Kylo Ren Unmasked is going to be number 7 on our list, a character that recently went free-to-play and probably the most generous free-to-play thing we ever got in the game, compared with this TIE Slicer, as Cubs fan Han likes to call it. And we're talking about the Zeta, and I'm guessing the Zeta on his leadership, Merciless Pursuit, plus 15% critical damage, to plus 5 speed, plus 5% turn meter gain. And here's kind of the main thing I'm guessing you recommend Kylo Ren Unmasked for, because when a First Order ally gains a status effect, whether it's positive or negative, they recover 5% health and 5% protection. So I know exactly what you're getting at here, but why don't you explain to the nice people why Kylo Ren Unmasked might be very suited for the Sith Raid.
So with this, whenever he's taunting and Darth Traya in Phase 4 starts hitting him with her basic attacks, basically he just does not lose any health. He just keeps healing himself back up, because whenever he takes damage, he gives himself advantage, and it just keeps healing him back up. And he just kind of takes the hits from her and just kind of says, oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Yeah. I tested it out a couple days ago, some patrons, and I was like, wow, it's like Kylo Ren's not even like trying to die here. He's it's one of those characters that seems like he can get you all the way to enrage. So again, we talked about earlier, trying to find teams that put out some big damage and tries to get you across your run as long as possible is really important. And Kylo Ren Zeta is really important because it greatly benefits himself, but also if you're running a First Order team, they're also gaining the same benefits. It might not be as durable as Kylo Ren Unmasked, but still, getting 5% health and 5% protection is pretty significant.
What killed the dinosaurs? Number 6.
General Veers and his aggressive tactician. One of my favorite Zetas in the game. It's great for the AAT raid, great for dark side territory battles, great for the territory wars, great against Night Sisters, and great for the Sith Triumvirate raid. Now, the great thing about General Veers is that his aggressive tactician Zeta, it's not a leadership ability, so he'll be great in the non-leadership role and great in the leadership role. Either way, he's going to be granting all these lovely bonuses for your Imperial Trooper allies. Pretty much when you give him the Zeta, he recovers 10% protection whenever an enemy is defeated, plus 20% offense up chance, and has a plus 60% turn meter gain chance. So a lot of these huge bonuses that he's given himself as well as other Imperial Trooper allies. So really big bonuses here. And why don't you kind of talk about why it's an important Zeta for the raid? It's pretty much based on minions, but why don't you go ahead and explain it a bit more?
Yeah, because this, with your Imperial Troopers, you can slowly pick off those ads that come with each boss and each fight of the phases. And really, this allows you to kind of like just draw out the fight for yourself a little bit. So you pick off like one Sith Marauders or Assassins, everybody gets some protection regeneration, they get the offense up. If you have Colonel Stark in there, you can also throw in the crit chance and crit damage up with him. And it just really boosts the damage for your team. And then if by some chance you have Death Trooper in there too, you have Death Mark, and now you're just running the pain train on them.
The Ice Age. Number 5.
Number 5 on our list, our next Phoenix character popping up on the list, and this is going to be Sabine Wren and her Demolish. And this was the one on your list that kind of shot me by surprise, but when you told me about it, it all made sense. So tell us why Demolish is very useful with her Zeta.
All Phoenix allies gain crit chance and offense up for 2 turns, reduce Sabine's cooldowns by 2 turns on a critical hit, stagger all enemies for 2 turns, and for each active Phoenix ally, this attack deals 15% more damage and adds an expose to this attack. So if you run this in a team of 5 Phoenix allies, that is 75% additional damage on Demolish and 6 exposes applied from Demolish.
That's a lot. Yeah, it's definitely it, because you said phase 2 is the optimal phase for Phoenix characters and especially the Zeta Rae, because that's when you have the most minions, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, and I mean, the big thing here is the crit chance up and the offense up, because you have the bonus offense from Ezra's unique, and you have the bonus crit chance and crit damage from Sabine's unique as well. So, you know, this just kind of piles up the damage with your Phoenix and allows them to just really deal out these massive hits.
Yeah, because they were all about counterattacking, and phase 2 is when they're going to get a lot of counterattacks out too, correct?
Yep.
Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers. Number 4.
Number 4, and this kind of ties into a later one that probably many people are expecting, and that's BB8 Roll with the Punches. And pretty much with Roll with the Punches, what happens is when BB8 attacks on a turn, he calls a random resistance ally to assist. And I guess we're going to have to kind of spoil a later Zeta on the list, but this Zeta is mainly important because of Jedi Training Rae, right, McMole?
Yeah, without Jedi Training Rae, you really wouldn't see this on the list.
Exactly. This is all because of Jedi Training Rae, because Jedi Training Rae, she has the one ability where she can call someone to assist with her Defiant Slash, and you're probably, correct if I'm wrong, McMole, but every time you're using Defiant Slash, you just want to call BB-8 with his Zeta, because that's when you're going to get the 3 attacks, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty much as simple as that. You're getting 3 attacks, and each time you're getting a resistance person to attack. As we'll find out later on, there's a chance to expose, yada, yada, yada. All this stuff kind of goes in motion. So BB8 Roll the punches, pretty much on this list solely because of Jedi Training Raid. But with that being said, it's definitely a very solid Zeta to put in.
I just wanted the Turbo Man down. Number 3.
Number 3, getting close to the number 1 spot here. Number 3 is going to be Han Solo, and the Zeta on his unique ability. Shoots first, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now, pretty much with the Zeta on there, he gets a plus 10% critical chance, and the first time each turn Han uses his basic attack, he attacks again, dealing 50% less damage. Now, you just did a video on this recently. We called it the Chex team, right?
The Chex Mix team, yes.
I love the name, the Chex Mix team. It's such a funny name to use. But check out the video if you haven't seen it already. But pretty much this all comes down to a phase 3 strategy. You make Han Solo stand alone. Darth Rae goes to town on him. But when he's standing alone with the right lineup, he's putting out like 80,000+ damage, right?
We've actually seen people pushing 200,000 damage on his attacks now.
Oh, goodness. And that's before Death Mark, right? Or after Death Mark?
That's damage separate from the Death Mark damage.
My goodness. Okay, so go ahead and explain this. I mean, people might not be understanding what you're saying, but go ahead and give us a quick explanation why the Zeta is really important in case they didn't see the Chex Mix video.
Basically, once he just starts whacking away at Traya and just demolishing her health, you'll quickly pull out a 5% easily with this team. And it's all thanks to the Zeta with the double taps on his attacks and just dissolving her health away, and she's just gone. Yeah, pretty awesome lineup, and it's a team that you can put out some big damage in mere minutes, right? So that's kind of it's a Zeta that has a small purpose, but that small purpose does a lot of damage, correct? Yeah, we did 2 million. The run I did was 2 million damage in 3 minutes. That's insane. This is what we're talking about. This is why we're showing you these Zetas, because a Zeta is crucial to take on Tier 6 and the heroic versions of the raids. These are Zetas that have a lot of use outside the game. I mean, Han Solo is great for the Rancor raid, AAT raid, pretty much every single game mode, this Zeta is useful. So pretty much every single one of these Zetas we're listing, they're great outside of just the Sith Raid, but these mainly are superior in the Sith Raid compared to a lot of other Zetas for the game.
You're not sending me to the cooler. Number 2!
Number 2! We're getting close to the number 1 spot, and yet again, we're seeing Asajj Ventress on this on our list here, and it's actually a really important leadership ability on the Night Sister Swiftness. And the main part of the reason why you might want to be using Asajj Ventress as the lead is because of that unavoidable turn meter removal, right? Yeah, the turn meter reduction is part of her Zeta too. It upgrades the chance to reduce turn meter by 25% up to 50%, and also removes 10% turn meter. So the Zeta does have that, but the main thing here is that 50% turn meter when they fall below 100% health. When you're fighting against Darth Traya in phases 3 and 4, and her Bonds of Weakness starts dealing damage to the Night Sisters, and then they fall below 100% health, you just start watching their turn meter just skyrocket, especially with Night Sister Acolyte. If you do it right, she can do a double tap with her basic and gain 100% turn meter right away. So you get like this loop of her going like 5 times.
Get to the chopper! Number 1!
Number 1, I think it's kind of obvious. Jedi Training Rae, and I feel like we don't even really need to explain explain it too much, but it all comes down to her Zeta on her leadership, inspirational presence. Now, with the Zeta, when a resistance ally uses a special ability, all exposed enemies lose 5% per meter, which can't be evaded. Really important right there, and it can't be resisted. And when a resistance ally uses a special ability, if they aren't debuffed, they get to reduce their own cooldowns by 1. She's one of those characters that we just like use her to use wherever we need them. We'll use her primarily in phase 1, but then now with like Chex Mix in phase 3, you don't have to worry about her there anymore. We've got some different teams like Phoenix, Ewoks, and that Pathfinder training team in phase 2 that we can use. So really, it's kind of like splitting up phase 1 and phase 4. And at this point, and she just kind of, you throw her in whatever phase you think she's going to work best in, and you watch her grab at least 4 or 5%. Yeah, this is a character, her Zeta works in pretty much every single one of the phases. And on top of it, just complete side note, she has 2 unresistible turn meter abilities: Mind Trick, unresistible turn meter, Inspirational Presence, which she has unresistible turn meter removal right there. So a lot of turn meter removal with this character, which makes Jedi Training Raid one of the best raid lead characters out there. Oh, once again, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Of course, go ahead and check out McMole's channel. Subscribe so you're not missing all that great raid content. And like this video if you did enjoy. If you guys did find these helpful, maybe down the line when the raid, we start learning more about the raid, maybe we'll do another video together. But you guys let us know down below. And as always, guys, make some Arnold noises.
Get to the chopper!